annual Brunch and Learn Mixer to help all businesses. We're looking for 25 businesses to have an exhibit table. Please email me at sdopoutreach@browardschools.com with a one sheet of your businesses and your services and see if you can have an opportunity to exhibit on that day. Now I'm going to hand you off to Michael Scott, our Officer of Economic Development Opportunities and Compliance.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Diana. My name is Michael Scott. I'm the Officer for Economic Development Opportunity and Compliance for Broward County Public Schools. And I'm excited that you've all, decided to spend your morning with our webinar. I'm certified. Now what? Your next steps to success. I always get questions about, okay, I'm certified, now what? Today, you'll get those answers to those questions. So we have some great speakers. You're going to learn some great information. So if you do have any questions post the seminar, please give us a call at 754-321-0770. Once again, thank you all for attending today's webinar. And I look forward to seeing you at our future events. Diana, back to you.
Oh, now we have Armando who's going to be presenting on lobbyists.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to check. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Yes? Can you hear me?
Yes, Armando, definitely can hear you. You can proceed.
Perfect. Thank you so much. My name is Armando Arana, Coordinator of Governmental Affairs for Broward County Public Schools, and I've been tasked to support the BCPS lobbyist registration and compliance process. That means that all the folks that would like to advocate or register as lobbyists to persuade for a decision to the board members or staff have to comply with this process. So let me go through my presentation. And just a quick note, if you can please hold after I'm going to do this presentation. If you please hold your questions to the end of the presentation, that would be best. Just jot them down and then we'll go through them at the end of the presentation. So thank you for that. So in accordance with School Board Policy number 1940, lobbyist activities for economic gain, Broward County Public Schools is committed to transparency, accountability, and ethical engagement in all legislative and policy-related communications. That means interactions as well. That includes interactions as well. So that means that individuals or entities that are seeking to influence decisions on behalf of a principal must comply with the district's lobbyist registration, disclosure, and reporting requirements. This registration occurs every year. It runs through July 1st through June 30th, and regardless of the date that you register, that is the period in which your registration is valid. That period of time, July 1st through June 30th. So let's say if you register today, which is February 2nd, that means that your registration will expire in June 30th of this year. Come July 1st of this year, you will need to re-register for the following year, which will run through July 1st through June 30th. The annual lobbying fee is $250, And now we've actually been able to accommodate that to be electronically. So you can submit these, your registration either and your payment in paper or by check, or you can do it all electronically, which is rather more convenient. So lobbyists must disclose the identity of principal they represent. This is during all the communications or interactions that happen with board members or BCPS staff. This disclosure must occur at the beginning of every communication. So whether it be in writing or verbally, or on the phone or in person, you must disclose, identify that you are a lobbyist, and then express whatever you need to express, right? This applies when the intent of the communication is to lobby, so if you have any other conversation that is not relevant to a lobby effort, you're free to have that, and you don't need to disclose that. But if you are having a conversation with the intent of lobbying a decision, please, you must identify that you are a registered lobbyist. So who does this disclosure apply to? First of all the school board members, the superintendent, all school board committees. That includes advisory committees as well, and all administrative assistants or school board or BCPS employees. Again, if it's communication and interaction that the intent is to influence the decision, you must disclose that you are a lobbyist. Now, what is a lobbyist in our view, in our eyes, right? And in the legality of what is BCPS and school board. That is any individual or entity engaging in lobbying for the economic gain of a principal. This applies regardless of compensation. So that's important to also know. Sometimes maybe you have an item that there's no compensation, but still, if you're trying to that has an end of an economic gain, well, then you must register. This includes principals, agents, officers, and any employees of a principal. So lobbyists must disclose business associations with current school board members. Of course, if there's relatives or and that's defined actually in the policy, which I'll show you where to find it as well. What exact relatives must be disclosed. But if there's anything with the school board members, you must also disclose that. This also applies to school board employees and their immediate family members. This ensures, of course, transparency and accountability. So during an active competitive solicitation, lobbyists for proposers are prohibited from communicating with the school board members, the superintendent, evaluation committee members, or school board employees regarding the solicitation. This restriction begins when the solicitation is released and remains in effect until a contract is awarded or the solicitation is withdrawn. So as we all are probably everyone is familiar with what's the cone of silence. So whenever that is enacted, there is no communication that is allowed, that is prohibited. Again, with the intent of communications or interactions that have the intent of persuading a decision. So lobbyists are also prohibited from making campaign during the cone of silence. Lobbyists are also prohibited from making campaign contributions to school board members during this period. And sometimes that is overlooked, and it's almost every year that there is a campaign season. This is one of them, of course. So just keep that in mind. Violations may result in a proposal being deemed non-responsive, disqualification from an award, or voiding of a contract. So post-employment lobbying restrictions, what this means is that senior level school board employees that are pay grade 30 and above are restricted from lobbying the district. School board members are also restricted from lobbying the district. That is prohibited 2 years after their service ends. So this would be something that is applied to folks that are internal right now. So a lobbying contract report must be completed for each lobbying interaction. The form is signed by the school board member involved. Those reports are also available on our website. Reports are subject to public inspection. So here is like the meat of what this process is. If you know that you need to engage or communicate with school board members or staff regarding a decision, then this is the registration. We have updated a registration intake form. This is your first step. The way, let me put the laser. The way you can submit it is, number one, you can submit it by hard copy to the Department of Legislative Affairs. Here's the address where you can mail it to. And then you have available also, you can submit it by electronic version, which is most commonly now used. So you can email or scan the completed intake form. And then email it to lobbyistregistration@browardschools.com. All lobbyist registration applications must include a letter of aside from the actual form, they must include a letter of authorization from the principal company confirming that permission has been granted to the individual or individuals named as the applicant. Upon receipt, once we receive your letter of authorization form from the principal and the intake form, then we will review to see if it's complete, if there's anything missing, and then our department will process the form, the application, and generate an invoice via what's called authorized.net, so that you can complete your registration form just by making the payment of the $250. Once the application and payments have been processed or received, you may now begin your lobbying activities, anything that you need to communicate or interact. This is what the application, the registration intake form looks like. It's basically all the information that we just went over. You fill in all the information here. Everything must be completed. It has a second page where you put in the principal's information as well. And now there's a part here that needs to be notarized. So this is important because sometimes it's overlooked, but it needs to be duly notarized. And again, we don't require for you to send this original in to us. You can scan it and email it, and that is sufficient. Preferably, in color for it to be scanned so that we can see the seal and the sign of the notary. And then that's the form basically. Now, if there's a cancellation, there's no fee that we require if you need to cancel any registration. However, it is incumbent upon the lobbyist or principal company to notify school board, and this will be you can just submit that by email to the email, or send us a letter also by physical mail. Now, I do want to show you also, before I get to the last, once you've done all that, this is our website. Okay, this is all the information that we went over right now is also appears here on the web, on our BCPS website. You go to legislative browardschools.com, and then you look for legislative affairs, and you'll see lobbyist on the left side. There'll be a tab that say lobbyist. The email will, you can click here and it'll take you to the email that you, that is active for this type of business. That's our telephone number. And down here, you can download the registration intake form. Here you have in the middle tab, the school board. If you want to read thoroughly what the policy is, there you can download it. Here's the cancellation notice if you need to do that. And then once we receive your payment, that means that we've already looked at the whole, what you previously submitted, your intake form, your letter of authorization, and the payment should be the final step for us to publish your name. Name here, you see, you'll get we'll publish it here, and you'll see where your name, your principal company that you're representing, the registration period start date, and then end date, which is always January 30th. See, so you should be able to see it there. And that's basically the process that we have to register as a lobbyist. Any information that you need or questions, you could always reach us at our email, lobbyistregistration@browardschools.com, or call us at 754-321-2608. And we're here to help you ensure compliance and have a transparent process as well. So I'll take any questions at this point. Thank you.
Okay, so your first question is the lobbyist fee waived for your certified firms?
The lobbyist, can you repeat that?
Is the lobbyist fee waived for your certified firms?
No.
I guess, yeah.
In short, no. it applies to everyone that everyone that's wanting to do this this activity.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? This is your time. Just making sure before. Oh, yeah.
The Q&A.
Okay. Am I currently understanding that anyone trying to be certified vendor would be considered a lobbyist, or if you go through a bid system and do not communicate with anyone, you are not lobbying?
Thank you. That is a very good question, Stacy. So as you go through a bid, if you're going through going to be going through a bid process, you need to register as a lobbyist if you plan on communicating or having interaction with either staff or school board members with the intent of persuading a decision, right? So if it's procedural on how you're going to bid or whatnot, if you're not trying to persuade a decision, then you don't. But if you are going to try to influence, right, a decision, then yes. I don't know if that's clear
Okay.
enough.
Yeah, they could hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please have all the questions in the Q&A tab. I'm trying to switch from the chat to a Q&A to ensure that we answer everyone, but it'll be easier if you stay within the Q&A icon up top and ask all the questions. So this question here says, can you give an example of why you need to be a lobbyist?
Thank you for that question. Yes, again, so the only reason to be a lobbyist is if you are trying to influence a decision for economic gain for yourself or for a company, right? So if you have an intent for that, having an economic gain from the district, then you need to register to be able to duly conduct those activities, and that means any phone calls, any emails, any in-person meetings, or any in-person interaction with the intent to influence a decision for economic gain, then You should do this prior to engaging in any of those activities. And it should, by the way, this is rather quick. We our turnaround, we don't have a specific time frame, but it's, I would say even in a day, we usually between a day and 3 days, we usually approve or give you feedback if you need to complete anything additional with your application.
The next question is, what's the difference between a vendor or a lobbyist?
That's a very good question as well. So a vendor is someone that an entity or company, and you folks in economic, the economic team can correct me if I'm wrong, but a vendor is just the company that offers a service or product to the district. A lobbyist is those individuals or companies that engage in trying to influence an activity trying to influence a decision, so you can put in a bid, without any engagement, and you don't have to register after the lobbyist. But if you plan on engaging, then that's when you do need to go through this process.
Armando, if the small business wants to provide a service to a school, such as provide food as a caterer to a school for homecoming, do they need to register as a lobbyist?
So that if it's not if it's directly with a school, I would need to get back to you on that exactly. But if it's not going through a process of a decision through the school board itself, you don't need to. Like it depends on if they're already registered, like in the pool of registered vendors. But if it's not a decision of the school board, then you don't. It's like if they're selling a lunch, if the school's buying lunch, the Subway doesn't have to register as a lobbyist.
Okay. The next question is, can we bid without being a lobbyist? If yes, how do we do that? It's two
Correct.
different departments.
And if anybody else wants to jump in as well, but my answer to that is yes, you can bid without registering as a lobbyist. But again, if you plan to engage in trying to influence board members or staff for that bid, then you do need to like if you're in a bid and then there's a board meeting, and sometimes applicants for a bid, they come to board meetings and they speak on their bid, or there's questions from the board. If you're going to do that, you need to register as a lobbyist. Everybody that engages to try to influence a decision should surely need to go through this process.
Okay. And if I plan on having a vending machine at a school, do we have to go through the lobbyist registration process?
I would need to verify that, honestly. But again, if it's not influencing the school board, no. In short, no, because that's directly with the school administrative service. That you're providing a proposal, and then the school comes back and says yay or nay. And typically, a service like that is you're not engaging the school board members or staff in trying to influence a decision.
Okay.
Anybody else jump in?
Yes, the last question for you. Are there any cases where being a vendor and a lobbyist will present a conflict of interest?
I would say if only there's a direct relationship, family relationship with a school board member, which are the ones that, make the decisions on the bids, or what do you call it? The committee members, the committees that are reviewing the bids. In that case, there would be a conflict. You need to disclose that, and then the economic development team will provide what steps to follow.
Okay, thank you so much, Armando, for your time. Um, we'll resume at the end of the presentation if anybody has any questions for you as well. Okay,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Diana Aguilar. I'm the marketing and outreach specialist here. I see we had a couple of new participants join the webinar. Just wanted to give you a heads up to let you know that February 11th, we will be having a certification event. So please make sure you register. March 11th, we'll be having a business marketing brunch and learn how to market your business. You can register for that event as well. On March 25th, we'll be having a Brunch and Learn Expo. This is a trade show, essentially a trade show for all businesses. We'll have all cities and government agencies there from the city of Lauderhill, from SCORE, Tamarack, North Miami Beach. So this is one place for businesses to show up to network with every single municipality in South Florida. And lastly, for May Small Business Month, we'll be having a, a mixer for all businesses. We're asking for 25 tables for business vendors. If you are interested, please email us at sdopoutreach@browardschools.com, a one sheet of your businesses and your services and how you can help other businesses. For you to have a table, your business has to be kind of broad so you can help all the other businesses. We have about 1,000 attendees that's estimated for that event. So I want to make sure that we'll be able to benefit all. And this is opportunities for you. Now I'm going to introduce Vincent Jones. With certification.
Can you hear me, Diane? Can you hear me, Diane? You hear me? I can hear myself. Too much of an echo.
Vincent, you're muted. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're muted.
Can you hear me?
It still has that echo.
Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Are they saying yes? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I'll start over again. My name is Vincent Jones, Certification Manager here in the Economic Development and Opportunities Compliance Department, EDOC. I'm delighted to share information about our certification process with you this morning. I would like for you to meet our team, and I'm glad to work each and every individuals that are being shown on this slide. And I give a big thank you to the officer of this department, Michael Scott, and the team for their full support. On behalf of all of us, we thank you for sharing your time with us this morning. I like to read our mission statement because it embodies what we do and who we are, to grow the economic base of Broward County for the benefit of our students, families, and the business community. We operate in 3 counties, and we are responsible for some of the spend that's directed towards you, and therefore we could not operate efficiently if you were not pursuing being certified or interest of doing business with Broward County Public Schools. Today we're going to be discussing a little bit of EDC, how it operates, vendor registration, how it will benefit you, our certification overview, the certification process, and any questions following the presentation. Yes, before we dive into the certification process, I would like to just mention becoming a registered vendor with Broward County Public Schools. It's not required to be registered to pursue certification, but again, we highly recommend that you become a certified firm. First and foremost, it allows you to pursue opportunities here at the district. So we have the site listed as well as the QR code to begin that process. And when you start the process, pre-registration, the next day, you can actually complete the registration. So pre-registration, following the next day, follow up with the next day, you will be able to complete the registration process. So far, currently we have 804 certified firms in our program, and they're broken down by industry categories: architect, engineering, construction, goods, other services, and professional services. Now, some of the benefits of being certified are as follows. We do, Diana just mentioned to you quite a bit of upcoming events. So we have a lot of training, a lot of networks, mentors. We have the visibility of our directory, which could increase your opportunities for you. And of course, we like to help you enhance the growth of your business. What's not mentioned here is our application is no charge. It's free for completing our application to become a certified firm at Broward County Public Schools. Now, here are some of the requirements that is mandatory. Your business must be for profit, independently owned and operated by a citizen or legal resident in the United States or its territories. You must have a significant business presence here in the Tri-County area. You must be in business for at least 1 year. Your employees, 50% of your employees must be domiciled in the Tri-County area. And we look for the physical address where you're located. And we don't want you to have a post office box, mail drop-off box, or a telephone center to do business. This slide here has a lot of information on it. And this is how we pretty much look at your firms and compare to this, not compare, but to review this form, make sure that you are certified, qualified, or eligible to be certified in our program. If you will pay attention or look to your left for the certification types, there are 5 certification types in our program. And the certification types, we review ownership, avenue revenues, and the number of employees you have working for your firm. The three of the five, well, all of the actual firms must be U.S. citizens, and three of the five have fixed incomes here. As you can see, the white women-owned companies, veteran, and MBEs. They're, excuse me, small business have fixed income. Basically, we average the gross receipts for 3 years because our certification is for 3 years. By averaging that gross receipt, if your dollar amount does not exceed 7.5 million, you will be considered for certification as that particular certification type. Now, the MBEs, how we determine the threshold amount is a little different than all four of these. We use the SBA guidelines to determine the annual threshold and to determine if you are qualified to be an MBE. And we also evaluate the number of employees that you don't exceed the number of employees that's listed on this particular slide as well. The MBE certification refers to the minority groups which are listed: African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, and Native American. Again, how we determine MWBEs for certification, we review the SBA, Small Business Administration size standards, and the NAICS codes to determine their annual threshold. For example, if you are an electrical contractor and we review your NAICS code and determine that the NAICS code and it matches with your business description and the services that you provide, we are going to say it's $19 million, and 50% of the 19 million is 9.5 million. If by averaging your 3-year tax returns, and at this point we're requiring 2022, your 2023, and your 2024 federal income tax return to average a gross receipt. If it falls or does not exceed 9.5 million, you'll be considered for MBE certification. And any one of these industry categories, you can become certified in all certification types for your business. We have 4 application types: new application, recertification application, reciprocal, and reciprocity. All of the applications must be uploaded, and when I say uploaded, to our new certification system powered by B2G. This is how you will start the application process. You will go to this website, www. I'll go a little slower, browardschools.smwbe.com. That's how you will start the process. Once you enter and you're on the site, the SDOP management system, log in, you will see that, I guess I will show that picture on your screen or your laptop. And the next step you would do is look for vendor certification. Once you find vendor certification, you're going to select, which is the tab, apply for renew certification. Once you do that, the next screen you will see will be step 3, and look for new certification. If you're a new business applying for certification for the first time, you either can do a create account, log in, or look up your account. Now, if you started doing this before, that's why we were saying you can look up your account by any, I guess, important measures of your business, such as your name, your business name, and your email address. You'll be able to find your certification by looking that information up. The same applies for recertifying. Look for the information to your right under recertify or upload your certification, and the same applies. You can actually log in or look up your account. And the last thing is for you to complete your application by completing the application, uploading all the required documents, and if they're uploaded and there are no errors, it's just a quicker process for reviewing your application for certification. I would like to show some of the mandatory documents that are required for certification. Our affidavit, signed, dated, and notarized. The proof of citizenship and ethnicity. One of the 5 documents will be accepted. I'm going to try to remember these. Your birth certificate, your passport, your certificate of naturalization, your travel card, and your permanent residence card. For your proof of identification, it will be your driver's license and your state issue card, your municipal business tax receipt, that's the city, your business tax receipt, or one or the other, we will accept. Your business tax receipt, that's a county. And we ask for your current and most previous business tax receipt. Proof of location, operation in the Tri-County area, we will accept your lease agreement or your property tax bill. If you're renting where you're located, we will accept the rental agreement for verification that you serve or that you're working in that particular area. We require 3-year federal tax returns and resumes of all of the owners. Now, if you apply as a corporation, the additional documents that we will request from you will be your articles of incorporation and your stock certificate, as well as the stock ledger. More than one owner, so you will be able to share with us the shares of ownership and the percentage of ownership, which is important for us to actually understand about your firm. If you are applying or file as an LLC, limited liability company, we will ask you for your operating agreement, partnership agreement. Now, there are the supplemental documents. If you are a new business and you are been in business less than 2 years, in lieu of the tax returns, we will accept the balance sheet and your income statement, your profit and loss statement. If you have any subsidiaries or affiliates, we will request the 3-year tax returns. And if you're a veteran pursuing certification as a veteran-owned firm, we will require your DD-214 document or your honorable discharge form. We have determined that these are our partnering agencies, and if you are eligible to complete the reciprocal application, if you're certified with one of these partnering agencies, we have a special certification process with Broward County. Broward County, only SBE certified with Broward County will complete the reciprocity application, and we will discuss a little bit more in the next few slides. Now, for the Tri-County reciprocal application, we would like for you to complete the reciprocal application when you certify with one of those partnering agencies, because it's a lot less documents, more of a streamlined process. We're basically saying to ourselves, you have been vetted already, so we don't have to review your application as if it's a new application. Reciprocal application is a lot less information that we will request from you to be certified. And the mandatory documents are our affidavit, proof of citizenship, ethnicity, proof of identification, municipal business tax receipt, business tax receipt, federal income tax returns, and the certificate of approval. That is your letter confirming that you are certified with that particular agency. Now, reciprocity application is for SBEs only that are certified with Broward County government. And we will ask you to complete our Broward County Public School, BCPS, SBE reciprocity affidavit. You will be requested to provide proof of identification, federal income tax returns, and your certificate for approval. I actually would like you to look at the next slide. This is the Broward County's affidavit. Only if you certify Broward County, you use this affidavit. We have two affidavits that are housed in the portal, but this is the affidavit, the only one that's pertaining to reciprocity. So please use this affidavit. And I am stressing that because some of the applications that we receive that are certified one of our partner agencies, they actually upload the wrong affidavit. Stay connected, stay informed with us. Here are our social media platforms that you can stay involved in, and just know our every step right now. But I think Dinah probably use all of them. Stay contacted with us by visiting our website, emailing us, calling us, and stopping by for a visit. If you have any additional questions or would like to have further assistance completing your application, as Dinah mentioned, every month we have in-person certification workshops here at our location. So if you have any questions or concerns, you will receive one-on-one assistance completing your application, as well as uploading the documents for certification. We also have someone who notarizes your affidavit on site. And we like to always recognize our board members and our superintendent. We want to thank them for their continued support of our program. If you would like to receive a copy of this presentation, here's the QR code. And we will say, I'm sorry, I'll keep it for a little bit longer.
And answer questions. Okay, Vince, your first question is, do you accept 1099 forms?
For
I'll get back to that. The person that said, do you accept 1099 forms, Rosaria Garsky? Can you please add more context to that, please?
at this point, no, we don't.
Okay. If a business is already registered, what is the benefit of becoming certified?
Our certification will allow you to pursue opportunities. For instance, if it's in construction, you have become a prime contractor where you are able to bid on projects. You are actually able to participate as a subcontractor. And some of our contracts that we pursue to the public, we have preference points by being a certified firm. Registration allows you to participate on projects. If you're not a registered vendor, you will not be able to participate on projects at all. So becoming a registered firm is highly, highly important.
If a business has registered for 3 years but has not been actively operating or has not filed business tax returns, how should this document be certification proposed?
Say that again?
I'm sorry, purposes.
Say that again?
If a business has been registered for 3 years but has not been actively operating and has not filed business tax returns, how should this be documented for certification purposes? Sorry. And then they ask, would a signed statement indicating that the business was active and did not generate taxable income be sufficient, or are there specific documents that BCPS requires?
So you've been acting as a business and you haven't filed your tax returns? That's quite interesting. So that means we would have to group that with management, because every firm working earning income should file their tax returns. That's one of our requirements. That's one of our required documents. So I'm not sure that you'll be able to receive certification at this point. Of no documents were filed with the federal government.
On proof of citizenship, can the owners of the business be born in the US and the parents in Cuba? Does that qualify as minorities?
Yes. If you're actually born in the U.S. and your parents are from Cuba, you're considered a minority for Hispanic descent. And by the way, if I believe management is also on this particular call, if I'm not correct on that first question, please jump in and correct me if possible.
What if you do telehealth? I have a group private practice. Can you apply to be a vendor? We'll have a physical location soon.
Yes, you can apply to be a registered vendor. Yes, you can.
Does it matter if
By the way, you don't have to be in the Tri-County area to be to register as a vendor.
does it matter if you're a sole proprietor or LLC?
No, it sure doesn't. Please apply. Please register. We'd love to have you.
Okay. Let's move on. What if you're husband and wife with What if you're a husband and wife with husband as veteran and wife woman-owned business? I am currently the owner, but may I add my husband who happens to be a veteran? We are an emerging business that's just a year old.
It depends. If you are the owner, a 50% owner of your company, and then your husband is an owner, you have to be 51% owner of your firm. So that means no, it would be underneath you as a white female, but your husband being a veteran, if he was the 50% owner of that particular firm, it would be, yes, he will be a veteran, but you cannot be both at this point. You cannot receive two certificates. And I did not mention you are able to receive more than one certification certificate if it applies to your firm.
Okay. ER Kids Transportation LLC is already certified with Broward County. We are a home-based business. Is the process to get certified with Broward County Public School the same, or what documents are the ones that we need to provide?
Yes, you can be a home-based business. ERE Kids Transportation is already certified with Broward County. You are, and if you are SBE, please complete the reciprocity application.
This is a good one. Can you be an employee of the BCPS and a certified vendor with BCPS?
Unfortunately, we have received notification from the board members that you cannot be an employee and certified as a vendor with Broward County Public Schools. Sorry about that.
If the business is owned by a Hispanic who is not born in the US still can be registered?
Are you a U.S. citizen? And you don't have to be born here to be considered. If you moved into the United States, you're a U.S. citizen, you are able to apply for certification in our department.
Should we certify as small business and minority, or can we do both?
You can do both. If you are a minority business owner and you have 50% ownership of that, or the group members 50% owned and operated as a minority, you can also be considered both for minority certification and a small business certification should your threshold limits are below 7.5 million.
Okay. Is a home address acceptable to use when applying for certification?
Yes.
Is there a waiver for the 2-year requirement for being in business when applying for certification?
Those questions, when we want to waive a required document, we discuss that with management. So that would have to be something that we discuss with management because we just don't waive required documents to become certified.
Can we apply for certification if we have not been in business for the 2 years?
You have not been in business, but you are registered with SunBiz and you have not been in business for 2 years. Yes, but that would still have to be a question because are you able to provide your balance sheet and your profit and loss statement?
I think Michael wants to say something.
Sure. Vincent, I just want to step in for 1 second. To be certified, you only need to be in business for 1 year, not 2
Right.
years. And I just want to go back to Diana Miles' question. If you are been active, if your business has been active with SunBiz, but you haven't actively been in business, as you stated, you haven't generated any income, yes, you're still certifiable. You would just indicate to us that you haven't filed the taxes for your business, or you might have just included your business taxes in your personal taxes. So, that would just be a zero amount, but you just can communicate with us and we'll make sure to, help you through the process in that regards.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, last question. What if the owner is not a U.S. citizen but has a valid investor visa?
That's not accepted. Michael, you can chime in on this one as well.
So
You have to be a U.S. citizen.
you have to be a U.S. citizen or legally residing in the United States.
Okay. All right. Okay, once again, for those of you who have just chimed in, thank you so much. My name is Diana Aguilar. I'm the Marketing and Outreach Specialist here with Broward County Public Schools. I just wanted to give you a brief reminder, when it comes to questions, please stay in the Q&A tab. It's kind of hard to switch back and forth to the chat. So in the chat, please network with everyone, put your business information in, and then in the Q&A, ask all questions for all presenters. After each presenter is completed, you have 10 minutes for questions. And then when we're done at the end, if you have any final questions, we have about 5 minutes to answer them. Just a brief reminder, we have a certification event that's happening February 11th. We have a marketing brunch and learn that's happening March 11th. We have a brunch and learn expo that's happening March 25th, and brunch and learn mixer that's happening May 21st. Okay, now I'm going to introduce Tyree McLeod, who's going to be discussing bidding, procurement, and all other opportunities for you.
Oh, how that happened. Let's try and change it up. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tyree McLeod. I currently serve as the Strategic Sourcing Manager here in the Procurement and Logistics Operations Department. I'm glad to see you all today. If you are able to turn on your camera, that would be great. Gonna go ahead and get started. So the Procurement and Logistics Operations Department serves as the central procurement organization for Broward County Public Schools. Our job is to manage the entire competitive solicitation process for bids, as well as the managing of the warehousing services for our school district. So collaboratively, we support the district staff in managing their agreements that are formerly known as direct negotiations. Our job is to enforce all applicable policies, statutes, and laws as it relates to the rules of the procurement process. There are very strict rules. Please, I'm going to do my best to share them all with you today. But make sure that you all visit our website to see all policies that are applicable. We also manage the purchasing card program here for the school district. And we are not only here to serve the school district, but our entire community. And that's why I'm here today. So for next slide, we have that our job is also to lead and facilitate school board agenda items for the transactions that take place within the school district. Our providing support across the district. Yes, supporting companies as well. That's what we're here today through the vendor registration process and the vendor onboarding process. Our job is to ensure that our contract compliance, our contracts are compliant, and that we advocate on behalf of the vendors so that we can make sure you have no issues and that you have access to resources. Okay, Vincent spoke about this a little bit earlier. Our you have registered vendors, you have certified vendors, and you have awarded vendors. Okay, registered vendors are vendors that applied for registration. However, because you are registered does not mean that you are awarded work to do contracted work with the school district. Certified, any small business can apply to be a certified entity. However, because you're certified does not mean you have been awarded work by the school district. Awarded vendors are vendors that can be awarded work via competitive solicitations or any type of agreement that have been directly negotiated or otherwise. So in purchase orders for spot purchases and P cards orders can also be considered an award for a goods or service, or a good or service. So I just want to make sure that we all understand, and just kind of to give an overview, summing all that up. So procurement here, we focus on facilities, construction, contract management when you have a direct negotiation. We also help with the district in procuring educational materials, food services, any types of goods, and professional services. So that's what we're here to do. We're where the business operations meets the communities and the people in our communities that can supply goods and services to the school district. So opportunity thresholds exist, and this is where we have the bids and solicitations and the agreements where they all have their own rules, right? So in the schools in our school districts and the departments as well can purchase any commodity, good or service for under 5,000 with just one quote. And we highly encourage that those things come from our participants, are the businesses that are in the EDOC as certified businesses. If the school board wants to make a purchase that is between $5,000 and $50,000, that requires 3 quotes. Most purchases over $50,000 requires a competitive solicitation, an agreement, or a bid waiver. For all of these amounts, if you are doing business with the school district and you require the release of information that is sensitive, such as student records or employee records, you will have to go into a contract. So that's even if it's under $5,000 and it's going to require any liabilities, you would still require a contract, and that has to go through our general counsel's office. We would still help with facilitating that process. For also for all of these thresholds, if you have software, or if you have a service that is eligible for an exemption, say for instance in IT, if you have IT related services and they are eligible for an exemption, the department requesting your service could complete a TRF, and those items that are services that don't require like an agreement. If the TRF is approved, you can do business directly with our IT department. So I'm gonna go on to the next slide. So these are the different types of solicitations that we engage in mostly here in procurement. Um, the first one is a request for information. This doesn't like require money. This doesn't lead to a financial gain. This is just for information. So it's used to solicit information to vendors to learn about new technologies or any innovative ways to solve problems. Okay, so this is a helpful tool that will allow us to do future solicitations and gain future knowledge about how to solicit needs and desires from our vendors that could best support the school district. A request for quote, request for qualification is often mistaken for a request for quote. It's used to determine if vendors are responsible and qualified. Okay. Our ITB is what's informally known as a request for a quote. It's used when we're purchasing specific commercial off-the-shelf products, and the price is the most important factor. We're just looking for a menu of items that we can go to you and purchase without there being any hesitation and delivery. It's like this is where we build our own Amazon catalog, if you will. Okay, we just need the items. We don't need any fluff. An RFP is the request for proposals. That's when we're trying to procure a solution for a specific need, and that applies to most services. So we would need to build an experience for this. If we want to procure, someone mentioned earlier that they had vending machines. That could be an example of an RFP. If we need health insurance for the school district, if we need mental health therapists, we would do an RFP because that's going to be a tailored approach where we need not just the menu, but we need everything lined out and clear on what the district has its needs for, and we need to understand who's going to provide it. So we have a full bio almost of the people that are going to be serving, and we have eventually a contract that will be written out so that we are all protected and we know what our expectations are. So we have the final one is an intent to negotiate, and that's the best or final offer. You use this to negotiate vendors for the best price. Okay. Becoming a registered vendor with BCPS. This is the QR code that Vincent shared earlier. I just wanted to bring it back to you all. The registration takes place in our Ariba platform. Please make sure that you fill it out correctly. If you want to take a picture of this, you can. You can later on press and hold down that QR code and it'll open up that link. But your vendor registration is the first step to all of this. We have to know that you exist, for lack of better words. And the next slide is Demand Star. So Demand Star is the official electronic platform used by Broward County Public Schools to advertise our procurement opportunities and share our solicitation documents with our vendors. Demand Star allows us to, it allows vendors, to view the active bids and requests. You all can, in that same platform, download the solicitation so that you can prepare your response. You receive notifications for new opportunities. You also track the procurement activity across other public agencies. And when you register with BCPS EDOC, you get access for free. Other agencies are available inside of that platform. I don't know the specifications around accessing their information, but it is very important that you know how to navigate this space because this is where the money is. I'm just going to be forthcoming. This is where the opportunities exist. Okay. Demand Star matters because it ensures open and competitive procurement. It provides equal access to the opportunities and it improves transparency and communication. It also centralizes bid and solicitation information into one uniquely created platform where you can go in, add your codes, and get those requests for your services or your good. Okay. Demand Star is owned by OnVia, so that's their main website. So don't get confused when you go onto that site and you see OnVia at the top. It's still Demand Star, and like I said, it's online. So back when people would submit packets of documents, and they would have to make it to the office by 5 o'clock or 2 o'clock on that day. Here, everything is due online, and it must be turned in before the due date that's stipulated on the solicitation. There are no exceptions, and everything that's requested inside of that document needs to be completely correct and 100% honest. When you submit that bid, it's a public record at some point, and you need to make sure that you can actually do what you wrote that you can do, because you would work your way into a contract later on. I'm speaking specifically for RFPs and ITBs right now. So, and some of them are quite dense. Your response could be well over 60 pages when you're responding to an RFP, because our RFPs can be 60 pages in length. Okay, they have sections, you have to answer them, you have to provide response questions, you have to create graphics, you have to provide whatever we need inside of that document, and it is a lengthy process. And I'll tell you the timeline for it so you can get an idea, but I would highly suggest that you all go in and that you pull some of those RFPs from even other places, just so that you can kind of practice with what it looks like and how it operates. It's very, very, very important that you follow the rules. You miss one section, it could have 4.3.2.2.4. If you miss that last point, that one section, you could often be eliminated from the pool. So you want to follow and read and get a team, have support on your response to an RFP. Most RFPs or ITBs in the district are for about 3 years with 2 possible renewals. So you want to keep that in mind, that this could certify you for earning money for up to 5 years. Now, I will say there's no guarantee that you will be awarded, and there's no guarantee that even when you're awarded that the schools or the departments would call and request your services if multiple people are awarded. It's still up to you to hustle that business. You still have to get out there and reach out to people and say, hey, I can do this. And that's outside of construction. Construction has its own rules. I'm the strategic sourcing manager, not the construction manager. Tips for vendors, and that's what I've already started on. Those little tips that I shared, plus these, please create your vendor profile and keep it updated, okay? Enable your email notifications so that you don't miss opportunities. You also want to review the solicitation documents very carefully and note the deadlines. Have your stuff ready well before the deadline. Things happen. People get sick. We've seen all of these before, but you want to make sure that you have your stuff prepared well in advance, okay? And monitor the account for what you apply for, because addendums are released. And when those addendums are released, you might have to go back and change something that you previously submitted, okay? So you want to make sure you're following this. I hope this is clear, and I hope this is helpful for you all. The next thing that's important is your NIGP commodity codes. So Broward County Public Schools uses National Institute of Governmental Purchasing, which is NIGP, commodity codes to categorize goods and services. And I know you all are used to the NAICS codes, which categorizes your business and by economic activity. That's the NAICS. Inside of Demand Star, you're going to get an NIGP code, which would allow while this matters, I'm going to go read the thing. Vendors receive notifications based on the selected codes, okay? And correct the missing codes equals missed opportunities. You can add those codes, and when you put that you are a landscaper, when we put out a solicitation for our tree trimming services or our grass cutting services, whatever the case may be, your account specifically, because it has that code, will get the ding and you will know that the opportunity is coming up. Put as many as you can. Like I said, in the best practices down here, select all applicable NIGP codes for your services. Review and update your codes annually, biannually, however you want to do it, every 3 months, quarterly. And avoid selecting unrelated codes that might cause you some confusion. Because if you have the wrong code and you're getting a notification you're not eligible to do the work and you can't provide the work, you may start ignoring things, and you do not want that. Always check our website, monitor what we post to see if something is, applicable to you. And I'm going to share on the next slide the cone of silence. From the very moment that we release a solicitation, we enter into the cone of silence. And the cone of silence is, sorry, I'm going to read this in total. Well, I'll read it. Procurement and logistics adheres to the cone of silence, which is a period of limitation made effective from the time of the release of the solicitation, and it remains in effect until the contract is awarded by the school board. Any proposers or lobbyists for a proposer, okay? Lobbyists for a proposer. I want to keep that in mind because we had the conversation earlier for lobbyists. When you write a response to a solicitation, you are proposing your solution. Lobbyists perform their duties in support of that proposal. Okay, so you have to submit something as a proposal to be lobbying for it. You're making changes or whatever the case may be. So if you have any conversation, and this is why it says communication is prohibited. Okay, except provided in this rule concerning any solicitation for competitive procurement with any school board member, the superintendent, any evaluation committee meeting member, or any other school district employee after the procurement and logistic operations department released that solicitation. So you cannot have any conversation the moment that that solicitation goes on to Demand Star with any of those people that I mentioned. The only time that you can converse about that specific solicitation is the moment that the school board approves it. And that's not just at the end of the meeting. That means the signature is signed on that contract, it's approved, and it's posted, which happens usually the day after. Okay. All communication regarding the solicitation shall be directed to the designated purchase agent. Okay. Unless so notified by the procurement and logistics department. And this is policy. This is policy. So you want to keep that in mind, that if you respond to a solicitation, do not discuss it. Keep that information to yourself. Once you're working in it, you can, in your nucleus of who you're working with, but do not reach out to the school district. And I'm going to go to, this is a mock process for the cone of silence and for an RFP proceeding. Okay. The initial start, right? This is for the vendors. This is for you to see what it looks like from your perspective. On day one, BCS posts an RFP opportunity. This could work for an ITB, not an RFI, just, let's do ITB and RFP. So the bid is posted on Demand Star. Vendors receive the notifications based on their commodity codes. Okay. Tip to you again, read the entire solicitation, the scope of service, the evaluation criteria, the submission instructions. Make sure you know your deadlines and the cone of silence. Okay. After you have done your investigation, you are now in the planning phase where you're building your proposal. You don't have a huge window of time, okay? So you have a non-mandatory proposals conference where you come and we share information about the solicitation. It's just an overview. And then after that, you have 3 or 4 days to respond to the purchasing agent with any questions. Every question, your only communication is with the purchasing agent, and it has to be in writing. Okay. You submit that, and then they will then post an addendum inside of Demand Star, and that addendum is what's going to answer the questions that you might have received. Okay. So 30 days from the release is when the proposals are due. It's typically 30 days. Sometimes there's an exception where it's more, but proposal submissions are due in Demand Star. All proposals must be submitted electronically, like I mentioned before. Protests may happen in any of these situations. You can have a protest for the specifications or later on. And this is where specifications protest could happen, but after the release of the actual bid. But later on during the award process is another time. I just wanted to put that in as a note. So after the submissions go in, there's about 2 to 3 week period after the bids are due that there will be an evaluation meeting for all of the proposals. At said meeting, vendors are expected to show up because there might be room sometimes for negotiations or just clarifying points. 1 week after that, the notice of award is posted in Demand Star. That does not mean you're eligible to do work. The notice of award is just a notice that these are the suggested awardees. Okay. Once that happens, you then move into, if you are awarded, you move into the process of drafting and completing your agreement for an RFP. There are no agreements in an ITB. That's just the menu. So you're completing your agreements, you're working with the vendor, you as the vendor are working with your purchasing agent, the requesting department, and legal to get your contract ironed out on how you're going to serve. After that, the agreement goes to the school board for approval. Once it is voted on, like I mentioned earlier, the next day you have a signed, confirmed agreement, and that's when the work begins. This process can take anywhere from 6 months to a year because you have to work on that agreement. We have a very finite legal department. We want to make sure that you are getting in a contract that you can actually maintain, and the district has to make sure that it is also very, very protected. And the next slide is we have an initiative that we're beginning here. It's our BCPS vendor spotlight. This page is our Instagram for our department because there's only so much that we could truly post about. So this would be a great way to work with EDOC and make sure that our vendors are being highlighted. So this page supports and highlights our vendors who support our schools, our students, and our staff every day. And our goal is to bring transparency and recognition and partnership to procurement operations, right? If we see a vendor at work, we want those pictures. You can tag us in them on IG or definitely email the photos to vendorspotlight@browardschools.com. You can scan this QR code right now and follow us on Instagram. Please, so that you can know exactly, you'll have a contact with us. Please, when you submit your photos, or if you have a school board member submit a photo, or a teacher or a principal, if you take a picture with them, have them share this and include the contact information for the business name, the location that this business took place, that the service took place, which could be the school, which could be KCW, wherever the case may be, and give us a description of the activity. Let us know what was going on. Give us the storyline. And if you have if you've been a vendor for 20 years or so, share that information with us. We want to know who our seasoned vendors are. So that concludes my presentation. I want to say thank you. You can download the presentation here.
Okay, so now questions for Tyree. When I go on the Demand Store link, shared which plan is available to certified vendors with BCPS, basic plan, county plan, or state plan?
I think that's an EDOC question.
Michael, are you able to answer that? Okay, we'll be back to that question. Okay. I've been in business for 14 years and work with private schools over 5 years ago. I'm interested in bidding for the next nursing contract, but I do not have any school experience within the last years. Can I still qualify?
So for any specific contract, any specific RFP, if it doesn't exist now, I can't really speak on it because every solicitation has its own parameters. So if it's highlighted in that specific solicitation, it will be very clear. It'll show you in the RFP whether or not you would be able to. They will have the experience that they're looking for laid out in that RFP.
Okay, next one. So the cone, oh, hold on, sorry. So the cone of silence starts on day one and ends only after the award?
Yes, after school board approval.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a long time too.
Uh-huh. Is there an event or workshop where you help fill out applications on uh, on bids? I'm assuming that's-
Help me understand the question.
Is there an event or workshop where you help out applicants fill out bids?
Oh no, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. We can't assist the vendor in their response to the proposal. Think about that.
Okay. And let me just see if there's anything in the chat. Looks like. It looks like that's it. Terry, hold on. Let me check one more time before I. Okay. So that was the last question. Thank you, Tyree.
You're welcome. Vincent, you took them
Yeah.
all, man.
Okay, before I give this off to Michael, I just want to let everybody know the QR code for the lobbyist presentation is inside the chat box. So you can download that presentation there. We provided you with the QR code for all presentations today. Yay! To make sure you have them. Thank you for all of you for joining our webinar. It was a pleasure having all of you. Greatly appreciate all of you putting your business information in the chat. Our goal here at EDOC is to help all businesses grow, network, and provide opportunities and give you all the fundamentals and workshops and trainings you may need to better your business. Now I'm going to send you off with Michael Scott, who's going to end this webinar.
Thank you, Diane. I just want to say thank you to our speakers, Tyree, Armando, Vincent, Diana for hosting, the entire EDOC team. We couldn't have done it without you. I just wanted to close with a few things. Whether you're a prime contractor or a subcontractor, EDOC, we are definitely here to help you. We are committed to small business inclusion, small business participation. We make sure that solicitations that come through procurement, they have some kind of small business inclusion language. We are here to assist if you're having issues with payment through our compliance department. We also have our goal setting department, which every once a month, at least once a month, we sit down, look at solicitations with the committee, and we make sure there is small business participation. Vincent mentioned it earlier. He mentioned a price preference. With the price preference, if we do put that affirmative procurement initiative price preference on that specific solicitation, and you're certified and you come within 3% of the lowest price for ITB, guess what? You're awarded that contract as a certified vendor. So there's definitely plenty of benefits to being certified. One thing I did want to mention is another benefit is, being certified is we have our concierge manager, Ms. Tasha Campbell. She'll email you, call you if we have a solicitation that's coming out that matches your next code. So, you will be notified. And they also want to mention our business directory that we have. In this directory, we have all of our certified firms This was for year 2024 through 2026. So we'll be coming up with another iteration towards the end of 2026 for 27 through 29. So if you're certified, you'll be in that directory. It goes to all the schools, all the local businesses, basically throughout Broward County. So if they're looking for a service, or they know they can go to that directory and find that service. And also, Diane, I just want to go back to the question. I believe, what was it, from Stania Collins?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then
So-
can you answer Loretta after she put that 3 times?
Okay. So Ms. Collins and Tyree, you may be able to help me out with this. So with Demand Star, I believe if you pick one agency, you get it for free. But if you pick multiple agencies to receive their procurement opportunities, then you have to pay.
Come on.
Is that correct, Tyree?
Come on.
This is from Ms. Lawson,
Collins.
Ms.
Stania
Collins?
Stania Collins.
Stania
Okay.
Collins.
Yes, Michael, submitting the basic plan, and when you select the school district of Broward County, that is a free plan on Demand Star. If you want to receive additional information on Demand Star for other counties or agencies, that will be an additional cost. That's a separate plan. I believe that cost for the county plan is $35, and the state plan is also $35. Basic plan is no payment at all.
All right, thank you. And Diane, if you can find that last question for me.
Okay, Loretta, I'll read it. Loretta, I am a Medicaid waiver service provider and I have my own agency where I service people with disabilities. How can I become a vendor with Broward County Public Schools to come in and be able to speak with the ESC specialists and past program teachers and parents to offer services and resources? I don't know if that's a Armando question.
Yeah, that's a little bit of procurement, Armando, and kind of us. To become a vendor, we talked about that process. You have to go through procurement to become a vendor. I'm not sure if there's a competitive solicitation for those kind of services. If there is, you may have to register as a lobbyist, Armando, if I'm correct.
What were the services?
Yeah, can you repeat that question,
Okay,
please?
sure. I am a Medicaid waiver service provider and I have my own agency where I service people with disabilities. How can I become a vendor with Broward County Public Schools to come in and be able to speak with the ESC specialists, past program teachers, and parents to offer service and resources?
Okay, so from a lobbyist perspective, if you're coming in with those services that are educational and you do not need to register. But if you're providing a service or that you will seek economic gain, then yes, you need to provide you need to register as a lobbyist. So educational, no. Economic gain, yes. In short.
Okay, thank you. And this
I
would
would
be
like to chime in on that one too.
Okay, go ahead, and then I'll have one last question before we
For
wrap.
that question, it was a vague question. If we knew I know you said that you're a Medicare waiver. That's what you have, and that you provide services. We have solicitations that are available, and active contracts that are out, active solicitations that are out, but they're all kind of tailored to a need. So I know that you may want to speak to the schools, but it would be, what would you talk about? What services are you providing to the students? That helps give a more tailored approach so that we would know exactly how your services align with the needs for the students and for the district. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if I missed the specific services, but we want to make sure that the information is specific. And when we go to the schools, you can share your resources to the schools without having a solicitation, and maybe you could get a direct negotiation. But for those type of services, it's typically going to be you responding to a solicitation and matching up to the needs. I hope that answers that.
Okay, and Tyree, you're going to put in this last question for you. It says, I can't find any solicitation on the website. Is there any ongoing solicitation? I just searched in the website. Is there a particular section to search for all solicitations?
So when you go into the demand site website, all of our active bids would be at the top. Those things that are posted for us that are current right now is not a really like peak season. But you can also just set up your account to receive the notifications based on your NIGP codes, and it will come to you. So you can also search the history of the solicitations, and you'll see everything that was put out in the past, so you'll know, what you're going to get ready for in the future.
Okay. Michael, did you have anything else to say?
Yes, one last thing. I just pinned to the top of the Q&A chat. Jasmine, she provided a link on our on-demand webinar, Understanding BCPS Solicitations, ITB, and RFP. So please take a look at those webinars to get more of an understanding regarding RFPs and ITBs solicitations. Right. So that is it for me. Diana, if you want to sign us off.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions about upcoming events, all of you that have registered for this event, this webinar today is now on our event subscribed list. So you'll get an update of all the upcoming events that are coming soon. Please register. All our events are on Eventbrite, and we do have an intake form to just get all your information. And we love to share your website and your social media with others because once again, our goal is to help you increase visibility, whether it's going through your website and going through your social media to help you promote your business. So please check yes to help network with other businesses when you do the submission form. Lastly, we have I just want to send a reminder that since we did certification today, that we have our upcoming certification that will be February 11th. I will send an email out today right after this event. So if you guys would like to register, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to register for that workshop, please do so. The slots are limited. It's 30 people per session. So the quicker you get in, the better. Anything, that's it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You can go ahead and network in the chat. I know it usually goes on for about 10, 15 minutes after. You guys have a good morning. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And